So, you're probably wondering why I gathered you all here today. No, you saw the ornaments, and I thought I would start turning one of these. This is, you have to drill a couple of holes, and drill them straight through. People have thought, well, we got to drill a hole here and then drill a hole here and drill a hole here. You have four opportunities. I'm sorry, you have three opportunities at that point to have the drill not be in the right place. The first one's always right, and the other three will come back to bite you. Okay, so it is about back what up. Oh, how about that? Ooh, look at that! Holy mo! There's a nice delay to that too. So, two holes you're drilled through. They intersect. Be careful with how big the hole is with respect to the dimension of your stock. If you get it too big, then you wind up with really thin margins here. Okay, so I did that already and I have it at home. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just leave a square section right around the equator of the ball. And I think that'll be kind of nice actually. And maybe I can shave off a corner there and make a kind of an octagon out of it. So I was going to pass these around, but you all did it already. So um, we'll wait and do this. The other one is an inside out ornament. And I have two blanks here. And of course, you turn the profile. Whoop. Thanks, Sarah Boudreau. So the interior profile is what you turn first on the outside of a four-piece glue up. And it's just a real temporary glue up. And I've been through several different plays. I don't, you get on the internet, you can figure out, oh, well, one guy is in here very carefully putting a piece of craft paper in the glue joint. And it looks pretty, I know that it works, no problem at all. But it's a little ditzy, a little fiddly for me to be doing that. And so what I have been doing, and they are here. I finally resolved to put the four pieces together and hold them together with this fibered packing tape. Okay, hold them in there, stretch it really tight as you go around it, make sure everything's lined up just right. And then all I've been doing is running a trail of super glue here and here. And then, of course, on the other side as well. Just a thin trail of it, and it works. The other thing you can do is I did this on the other ones there. Just put a thin stripe of yellow glue before you put them together. Go ahead and put the tape around them. And all of that to say that I don't think that it's necessary to put clamps on all four pieces, four on this side and four on this side. I think and tape them, okay? Put the tape on there. Don't use the regular tape, regular packing tape. Go ahead and get some half-inch fiber tape. It's pretty strong, does a great job. You might want to break the corners because even the fiber packing tape has a tendency to get cut right on the edges. So, any questions about glue up? So, you turn the outside profile. This is the first glue up. You can see I put numbers on here so that you can see that when you take it apart and turn it around, turn each one of the pieces around, okay? You see now the 4, 3, 2, 1, they're all on the outside of the square. Can you see that? All right, okay. Look at that. That's cute. So the other thing that I found out is that you can turn the outside profile, which will become the inside profile, and it's a big pain in the backside to try if you want to paint it or stain it or finish it in some way. Why do it before you turn it inside out, right? And the other thing I found out is that on this one is that trying to tape and mask off the shape before you cut it apart is a kind of a pain in the butt. And so this one here, we're going to try tonight, see whether you can pre-mask the blank and then turn it inside out. And that way you don't have to, no, that's not going to work either, is it? Because that's going to be the glue surface. I'll be dipped in Crisco. Outsmarted myself all over again. All right, well, we'll get rid of that. Any questions about this so far? Eh? You've seen this done already? Anybody? Maybe you've done it yourselves. Huh? No. I think I did have to turn this a little bit, and it winds up being kind of a pain, so I'm just going to take it off. The tape was going to pre-mask the area. I guess it still can. Yeah, you just take it off later, right? Ha. All right. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I tell you, huh? All right. Well, the others, I have been turning these in between centers, and it does get a little tedious when you get down to these really tiny diameters with a any kind of tailstock pressure, right? And I've about resolved that if you want to do really elaborate finials on them down here, it's best to do those as a separate piece. Drill a hole in the bottom of it and do it as a separate piece. Uh, these are already, and this one's poplar. And by the time you have made this out of 4 pieces and you've drawn this down and you've got 4 glue lines in there, and maybe they'll hold, maybe they won't. But that would be inconvenient to have most of it turned and then have it chuck off of there. So I would go ahead and turn those separately. So I brought 2 blanks. On one of them, we'll turn the inside profile, which will be on the outside of the blank. And this profile is actually pretty basic, just a simple kind of a, what do they call it? Hollows and rounds. What do you call it? Beads and coves. You basically turn a cove on it, and you can see on one of them, or a couple of them there, of the piece. Come on now, doggone ye! I don't use a chuck very much. There we go. So you can see on this blank, it's just a simple cove that I cut on the outside of the piece. Geez, I'm sorry. I want you guys to see. Never mind. But on this one, I turned a rib on it. Yeah. And so when you turn it inside out, then it shows up as a positive feature on the inside. And I've thought, I mean, these are the first ones I've ever turned. And so, messing around with the profile on the outside of the turning the first time, and then turning it inside out, and then of course you get these things. And on this one, of course, I started playing with the idea of going ahead and incising the outside the second time to kind of emphasize that shape. Did I do? I'm sorry. What about it? No, that's the first. The first turning is done with a like a double cove. Yeah. So here, pass these around. One of you. So you can see what's going on the inside of both of those. One of them is just a smooth cove. That's like kind of an asymmetrical cove, an elliptical cove, rather than just a simple round. And yeah, so come on now. All right. Doggone it.
I'll turn it. There you
Oh, look at this.
go. And you got to spin around 3 times.
Oh, you did it already though. All right. Yeah, turn it. Yeah, yeah. That's what I was doing earlier. These, these newfangled things here, I tell you. We'll get rid of this. I would be careful bringing up tailstock pressure right on the glue line. You know, this one in particular, these just have a simple cone on them. You're liable to blow that joint apart. So from here, it's just kind of the same kind of turning you do on a spindle. Yes, sir. Yeah, I looked at it, but it really isn't a cup. There's a plug in the middle of it. Oh, well, that would dip it Crisco again, huh? So the cup center, right? If you get one of those and the point doesn't stick out so far like this one does, is that spring loaded? I thought, let's just leave it alone. We'll figure it out here. Look at what you did there. Yeah, yeah, we'll run with this. All right, so turning a cove. This is just standard work. You start with a gouge turned at 6 and 12, and you cut primarily with the tip of the gouge. You raise the handle instead of trying to push into it, and you're making a slicing cut. Whoop, and you're keeping your wire out of the way. And so here we go. It's incredible. It's important when you do that to just simply raise the handle, and then the gouge has something to rub against. Is that intermittent cut here? And so it's important that you do that because if you two things that are really important. Certainly, just raising the handle, number one, and number two, to have a sharp tool. Number three, what was number three? We're going to keep doing this. I have it turned so that the flutes are at 6 and 12. And so to do a cove on a spindle, you kind of make a little bit of room, and then you come back from the other side and make a little more room. And you keep widening that out a little bit. And as you approach the bottom of the cove, you rotate the gouge. You should be at about 3 and 9 when you get about to the bottom of the cove. So in this place, I'm not initiating a cut. I already have the wall of a cut to rub a bevel against. And so rub a bevel and rotate the handle around this way or lift the handle, either one. Get a chip, and then what I call is just chasing a chip the rest of the way down. So here, there, you see it? We just got a tiny little shaving coming off. And furthermore, notice that it isn't a job that you do like this. Yeah? Park it against your hip here and swing around with it. So once you get kind of the waist stock out, then you focus on what's going on over here. This is where you'll see the shape develop. You can't really see it here with chips coming off and tools in the way and so forth and so on. Over here is where you see what the shape develop. And so right here, I can tell that I would like to make this a little bit more abrupt. And this is hard maple. It takes detail really, really well. If you hear You hear the heel of the bevel banging against the four corners here. You just kind of want to float it on there, right? You don't want to put it on there so hard that you wind up burnishing the end grain of the wood here. So once again, here, these little tiny chips coming off there. We're going to start here. I like these. Personally, I like these to be kind of asymmetrical. So if you've done it all, we got a little bit of a ring here. You can get rid of that by turning. But once you get a shape, and it's kind of difficult when you start out trying to figure out exactly how the shape is going to develop when you turn it around. However, it'll look initially like you really don't have much, right? This doesn't look like much, but the outside shape will really modify what the ultimate shape looks like. And so it doesn't take a whole lot here. I'm going to get rid of this and we'll be done with it. Did that do it? Looks like we still got a little bit of a ring there. Whoop, that's really inconvenient to turn that way. So I'm going to start back here and come into this thing a little more aggressively. That's not too bad. But we can see that this works really well. Having the tape on there, right? And so we'd had tape on here if I'd have been smarter about it. And that way we can spray this. That's what I did with the other one. I sprayed that, I don't know, fancy gold paint. And it's very easy to do that. Once you get to this point, you get it sprayed if that's what you want to do, or you get it stained or whatever. Why, then you can, it just takes like a knife or a big broad chisel. There it is. And you knock this apart. Obviously, take the tape off first. Are there any questions so far? Insults, comments? So you got this fingered, huh? All right, so we can put that back in the. I'm do it again. All right, so then we come to this one, and this is after I've rotated the pieces around. Yeah, and this do it again, huh? Yeah, TV. Yeah, magic. No, no, not. So this time, when you glue it together, well, you glue all surfaces. This is going to be permanently glued together then. And so again, this is the piece that you can you see that on the inside? Yeah, it's got the gold in there. Silver and gold. Never mind. And and again, with a great deal of feeling and soul. All right. I turned that on here this evening yet. Yeah. Yeah. Is that what that answer the question? Okay. Yes. Yeah. People call that a spur center. Oh, look at there. Revealed the curly maple in all its glory. What do we got here? That's right. Okay. People who know me know that I harp on sharp tools. Okay. Sharp tools. You can't do this with tools that are not sharp. We're going to do the heavy part here with the tailstock involved. So what's going on here is I've got the tool rest too low and I can't get my tool up high enough like this. Does that make sense? So I'm going to lower the tool rest a bit. Wrong, R-O-N-G. We'll raise it up. It's a little bit above center at this point. A little bit of a planing cut. You can make out the tiger maple there. Oh, that's nice. We got still a little bit of a flat there. Another pass. Get rid of that. So at this point, pay attention to the shape of these openings. Let's see, is that my thumb almost fits in there? And so you'll pay attention to this and see how that changes. This is getting acceptably thin, okay? It could be a little thinner. We might thin it out a little bit again. And we'll move the tool rest up a little bit. We'll see how that looks. Already that's starting to get a little bit bigger. And this shape on the inside here is more of a U shape, right? Instead of being elliptical. Yeah? Oh, a little more. So this last bit is more about, so you can see this getting bigger as we go. And so the last part of this is more about turning a finial than it is about making an inside out ornament. And so a lot of you have seen me turn before. I use my parting tool in a number of different ways. One of them is use it over here on the side like a real scraper. And I find it really useful to use up here like this. And it's really being used like a really narrow skew chisel. And it leaves, if you keep your tool sharp, leaves a really nice finish here. That's a scraped finish instead of a sliced finish. But we can come back and clean that up. So once again, hard maple is it's a hard wood. It's really dense. You can get really good detail out of it. These are called fillets, these little flat spots. And if you'll notice, I've undercut this one, the big primary one here. And you can make that just a square shape, but you'll kind of emphasize what's going on visually if you undercut them slightly. Here it again, using it like a skew. Okay. John, you were asking me how you do this? Get them down to a little point. Here it is. And again, we're going to try and undercut this very slightly. I've got my lathe speed way high here. And you still, something this small in diameter, you still have to move really slow because there's so little surface material going past the tool. Yeah, there you go. That just broke off. I'll kind of even those up a little bit, maybe. All right. And now we've done all this real tickly stuff down on the one end because it's cantilevered off the headstock here. I think I can kind of improve the surface quality here. And that way I won't have to bore you with the intricacies of my sanding technique. Hard maple is a nice wood to work with. But you can see the size of the opening increasing. Once again, you're looking over here for the final, your real shape of the piece that you're working with. So you rub a bevel, raise the handle a little bit, you get a chip. You have to raise the handle, roll the tool all at the same time. It's a little rough across here. Once again, huh? So here you call this a back cut or a climb cut. You got a little bit of a ridge here. You got plenty of thickness here. I'm going to reduce that a little bit. It always helps, in my opinion, these things need to be lightweight. If you are going to be hanging them on a tree somewhere, you'd rather not have the branch sag underneath the weight of a brick, So me still get a little more off of there. That's better. But here again, yeah, it's gotten quite a bit bigger. And once again, this is more like turning a finial. I'm sorry. Wider the ornament's going to be. Yeah, up at a point. Yeah, and so you'll also notice that it will make these thinner the deeper your cove and the more severe it is. So you could cut like I did on these. You could leave a prominence on the outside of the first time, the first turning, or you can use V grooves on the inside there, and or you can turn little beads, all the way around that cove, and then they'll show up on the interior here. Yeah, it's all about kind of seeing it inside out, I guess. So this is just a little bead and a ball at the end to hang this by. And I just barely have enough room here to work this. You have to be kind of careful here because it's really short grain right there where it's hooked on. And so you have to be a little more reserved. So this is a tool that I made out of a 1/4 inch metal lathe bit, uh, 1/4 by 1/4. Cut a end out of the end of it. A lot of people think, oh well, every time you sharpen this, you have to go ahead and reconstruct that profile, right? You have to put it on the grinder and grind that profile there to sharpen it. No, 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 no. You do what's called a face grind every time. You turn it this way against the stone, against your boron nitride tool, and the profile stays. It's exactly the same way they do router bits, right? Any kind or shaper bits. They face grind them. So this is just like a little tiny round nose bit. And again, with it, we're able to dish out. And again, that really emphasizes that shape to, to dish it. Where did it go? Blowing me, I've lost it. There it is. So we're going to make a little fillet here. And again, instead of making it perpendicular to the axis there, we'll go ahead and undercut it a little bit. And use the long point of the skew. Yeah, not too bad. So that's already painted gold on the inside. And so since that's a nice piece of curly curly maple, why we'll finish that bright, might stain it. An alcohol stain would work really well on that to emphasize that. Paint it red. Ah, thanks. Um, this is the same process. These are remarkably easier to do. Yeah, for obvious reasons. There's just not so much of the fiddly, gluing it up and taking apart and maybe making sure that all the corners register. I thought I would have time to do this, but I don't. Y'all are getting bored anyway, right? I know Ken's here falling asleep right in the front row. I should have started throwing stuff at him, I guess. Do it again? Yeah, sure is. Yeah, here's the same technique. And again, drill the holes all the way through. Make sure that the table on your drill press is perpendicular to the spindle. You know how to do that? Really easy way, just knucklehead way to do it is to get a piece of wire and put a Z bend in it, right? Pretty stout wire, maybe number 12 wire, something like that. Doesn't have to be, an offset maybe of 3 or 4 inches, and chuck that up and then rotate the spindle by hand, and it should touch all the way around. Yeah, you bring it down to where the one part, the the other part that's out here on the outboard side, as it starts to just barely touch the table on your drill press, and then rotate it, right? It should touch on the other side. If it doesn't, you have to kind of bang on your table a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Bridgeport works. Not everybody's got a Bridgeport. But then, if you go, you do the same thing if with a dial indicator and an offset on a dial indicator, and then you indicate the thing. This is wood. It's not metal. Any other questions? Yeah? Was this valuable? All right. Good.